Imagine finding the absolute perfect recipe for a chocolate cake. It has all the right measurements, the exact baking temperatures, and the perfect steps. But if you try to take a bite out of that piece of paper, you're going to be pretty disappointed. That's because a recipe is just a set of standardized instructions and ingredient lists. It tells you exactly what to do, but it doesn't actually do any of the baking for you. To actually get a cake, you need an active participant. You need a baker to read those instructions, crack the eggs, mix the flour, and do the physical work. Software development works exactly the same way. To manage data effectively, we need both a strict set of rules to follow and an active tool to execute them. This animation shows the core problem developers face: a data mismatch. Java organizes data as complex, physical-like objects with multiple layers, but relational databases store information in rigid, flat tables. To fix this, we use an ORM, or Object Relational Mapping. It acts as a translation bridge, converting those complex 3D Java objects into flat database rows, and vice versa. When developers build this translation bridge in Java, they constantly rely on two specific acronyms to get the job done: JPA and Hibernate. To understand how these two tools divide the labor of object relational mapping, we have to look at them through the lens of the recipe and the chef. This image represents JPA, or the Java Persistence API. Think of JPA as the official recipe book of Java data management. It's a specification, a written standard that defines the rules for saving data, but it cannot actually save any data on its own. Found in javax.persistence, JPA provides standard annotations to tag data ingredients. It uses @entity to mark a class for the database, and @ID for its unique key. It also dictates actions using the Entity Manager interface, the theoretical manager for reading, writing, and removing ingredients. But again, JPA is entirely passive. It is a standardized blueprint sitting on the table, waiting for someone to actually follow it. That's where Hibernate comes in. Hibernate is the master baker who arrives in the kitchen to actually execute the cooking process. Found in the org.hibernate package, Hibernate is an open-source ORM framework. It serves as the active implementation of the JPA specification we just talked about. Hibernate actively reads the JPA rules. It uses a tool called a session factory to create runtime sessions, which are active connections to the database, and then physically maps the Java objects into the SQL tables. Without Hibernate, or another implementation framework just like it, that perfect JPA blueprint is completely useless. It's the baker who makes the cake happen. Because Hibernate is the active worker in the kitchen, it brings its own special tools and techniques that go well beyond the standard JPA recipe. For instance, here we see a representation of Hibernate's built-in caching. Caching temporarily stores frequently accessed data in memory, making database operations lightning fast. There's also a difference in how you ask for data. The JPA standard provides the Java Persistence Query Language, or JPQL, but Hibernate offers its own advanced tool, the Hibernate Query Language, or HQL, for more complex, object-oriented database queries. Developers often choose to use Hibernate specifically for these powerful, non-standard performance boosts. This brings up a critical question. If Hibernate does the actual work and has better tools, why bother writing the JPA recipe at all? Why not just write instructions specifically for Hibernate? This chart illustrates vendor independence, the ability to swap tools without rewriting your application. Hard coding directly to Hibernate permanently locks your code to that chef, but relying on the JPA standard means swapping frameworks requires minimal changes. Hand the recipe to a new chef. In practice, JPA acts as an insurance policy. It protects you from getting stuck using a single technology. So let's recap. JPA is the specification. It provides the rules, the standardized annotations, and the blueprint for mapping. Hibernate is the open-source implementation. It is the active framework, the hard worker, and the chef that physically connects to databases to get things done. To build a successful Java application, write a standardized recipe with JPA and let Hibernate do the baking.